And the British made us sell opium to China for 100 years.
Correct.
Indian opium. All the big money in India is made out of, not all, a lot of it came from this opium trade.
And even in India, right now we think that America is our friend. But in the trade,
America
tariff,
is Modi and Adani's friend for sure.
No, but tariff, we heard much of the Trump, what they think about the Indians. They abusing language, they run to the Indians. They say that economy, this thing, that thing. So America is not a friend of.
The same thing with Israel. Israel pretends to be India's great friend, but they're totally racist about Indians. I mean, even the Israelis who come here, they are racist to Indians in India.
Sir, did you call out for this collective kind of how the Chris Marker reacted?
Yeah.
What were the reactions from Indian filmmakers?
Those days, that was 67, so I was 17.
I'm not saying about Vietnam War. What about the Indian filmmakers nowadays? Is there any possibility?
Is there you're talking about the act of collective filmmaking?
Yeah.
This was an example, a rare example, I would say, even in America or even in Europe, it's a rare example. That's why I wanted to show the book. It's a classic because so many filmmakers collaborated, and they're not even bothered about their name being there or whatever. Some people have done background work. Like Chris Marker is hardly, you don't know which film that he made.
Agnes
Varda is there. Yeah, the great filmmakers were put together the talents to make. That's another thing I was curious about. Which film did you like out of all of these? There were so many different bits.
Godard was, as usual, is very prominent. Godard was very prominent.
Huh?
Godard was very prominent. You can figure out that's Godard.
That's Godard.
And his
Because you don't
Vietnam
understand what
portions
he's
were
saying.
Vietnam.
Could figure out his Godard nonsense.
Huh?
I really like the one by Michelle Ray, the female
Yeah.
journalist.
Yeah.
It had a lot of empathy. It wasn't centered around her, which I personally felt the one with Godard and the Han something with the silent
Godard one
woman.
was, to me, disappointing.
Yeah.
He
And
was
there
just
was
doing his Godard.
there was also the monologue-y, very set up one where the guy is just talking to the silent woman who has nothing to say. So those are the ones I didn't
So
like.
that silent woman is also very, it's also, we're talking about 60s where women's movement and thinking has not yet actually
Yes,
happened.
yeah.
Even
It's
though
very-
progressive movements are there, but even this woman,
Yeah.
unless it was meant as a comment that she's completely silent, it
Yeah.
is used as a visual.
Yeah. I was wondering, I was like, okay, maybe is he gonna flip it, when in the end she does say or do something, but I don't know if that was
No, I
say
think that
something, but-
consciousness hadn't yet dawned. It was still the early days of women's liberation.
But I really liked Michelle Ray's one. And I think something that really stayed with me, and there's a lot of stuff that really stayed with me, but the opening visuals of
The opening is Joris Evans, who is a great
yeah. I think
Dutch filmmaker
what really
who filmed also during the Spanish Civil War.
Yeah, the what I liked the most and what really stayed with me about those visuals is that you sort of realize the men who are just like putting cargo, right, from one ship to the other, and there's a casualness of it, there's an everyday ease, and it makes you realize that oppressive systems are not built by these big grand gestures. There are like small steps along the way that there's a big effect of that, and you have to stop
Yeah,
and think
and
what you're
also-
participating in. And it reminded me of the Italian workers who refused recently for the Palestine war.
Yeah.
Sort of said, no, we're not doing that.
Dock workers are
Yeah.
not
And it makes you
cooperating.
think about yourself as well.
And on
What
the
are
other
you
side,
doing
there
to
were people
perpetuate?
building concrete rings, and that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, that was quite
So
amazing.
I'm reading newspaper.
Huh?
The guy who's singing Napalm.
Yeah.
Kid,
Yeah.
That's a moment I tried. I'm going to try because the street play, role of street play, and speaking to people, everything's vanished. Everything is gone to digital Instagram. Again, it's Meta's world, and so I don't know whether what we are going to do in streets anymore, but it's still effective. I can just repeat whatever one and can attract people.
And just as the guy, the Quaker man who burned himself, and you talked to his wife. So even during the attack on Gaza, an American soldier, American military guy, burned himself in front of the White House.
Yeah, in front of the Israeli embassy and then live streamed it on YouTube. Same guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had that in India also during the time of DP Mandal. We've had this everywhere.
But that was the ABVP people
Yeah.
trying,
But that
pretending
was
to do
like
that rather.
Goswami.
Pretending to do it, they didn't.
Goswami.
I mean, I'm
Goswami.
not proposing that they should have, but nevertheless.
Counter revolution.
That
I'm
was a
glad
fake.
you brought up the
Fake.
case of the Air Force officer. I'm glad you brought up the case of the Air Force officer.
Air Force
because
officer,
The
yeah.
whole act of also live streaming it, all the visuals. And of course, I mean, I did watch it and I didn't sleep for a week and I felt the need to watch it and I asked myself, why am I watching it? So there were all these questions that were going on within me, which Morrison's widow
Yeah.
and that film really brings up quite evocatively. I mean, I'm amazed at how she has the support of her family. She has 3 kids. You know, she's not upset or angry that he's left me to take care of these 3 kids all by myself. But I mean, her political position is also it's so moving. I mean, where she is. But yeah, thanks for bringing up the one of the Air Force officer.
And it was done before he did it. There was these Buddhist monks in Vietnam who set themselves on fire.
But I mean, the question still stands. Like it's like from that time and now. I mean, as an act of protest, as an act of protest that is then live streamed on the internet. I mean, why would a dissenter want to live stream this? Like, what is
Why would
a dissenter, somebody who chooses to immolate himself or herself, want that record of dissent on the internet? I mean, I'm still struggling with
we
that.
would want it because that's why he did it. He wants people.
Because
He wants people to feel.
people not to
Yes.
forget.
It ended up changing lives.
I mean, I'm just asking the deeper question about what is his psychological impulse behind making that happen.
Just to, I mean, he's ending his life, so he wants that to have an effect. It's like, why, if I make a film, I want people to watch the film. Otherwise, why would I make it?
So he emotionally involved the general public also by killing us.
Okay, I think.
Thank you so much.